Alright guys, Johnny Sunshine doing a little update on the new construction on my circle. The cinder blocks are going up. Let's check it out. So we talked about the rebar and how the rebar connects the footer. See this on the edge of every window? This will be a solid cell. You can see the hole here. That's to let them know where the rebar is. They'll put a little vent in there or fitting, so that, they'll nail a piece of plywood to it, and they'll use a vibrator to make sure the cement's getting all the way down. But you can see here, you see how this block is hanging over the slab? That's what you get when you have these monolithic pours. The block is nice and straight. You can only go so high in a day with this cinder block, or the weight of the blocks will squeeze the cement out. But every window, and then every 4 feet, there's going to be rebar that gets twisted. And I'm surprised you can't see it here coming up out of. Usually they put them, I don't know how they're going to do that, but the rebar is definitely going to go all the way up, and then it's going to tie in. See that Leno block they have up there at the top? That's called the Leno block. They got those 2 pieces of rebar there. That's going to tie everything together. The Leno will be solid, and then those solid cells will go down to the footer, tying everything together. And when this is all done, when the cinder block's all up, and the tie beam or the Leno block, the Leno's poured, you literally could come here and cut out all the cinder block between these solid cells and knock it down, and this house would stand. That's the structure of the house. The solid cells, the rebar, basically reinforced concrete. It was a huge crew out here, and they were kicking ass today, man. I mean, they put a lot of, see, here's a Leno. That's, I think I have a Leno at my house that I put in when I built the guest house that was 26 feet long. That was the longest one you could get at that point. Every window is going to have a Leno like that over the top of it, which will get poured solid. It's got rebar in it. Prefab. See how the hose bib came out? Here's the ground wire, and it's connected underground to that ground rebar that was coming up on the other side of the house. So on the side of every window, you can see it's a solid cell. In the corners will be solid cells, all the way up with a Leno block running all the way around the top. You see these? See this rebar here? They're going to twist it down there at the bottom, and it's going to go all the way up and tie on to the rebar at the very top. So that's what they do. I thought they put it at like 4 feet, but this overlaps the other rebar by 4 feet, it looks like. So every one of these openings, and there's a friend of mine, guy who did block work. He's the one who invented those little vents that you use. It actually holds the cement in, but it lets the air out as you're pumping cement down into these cells. And he made a lot of money. Unfortunately, because he was cutting these blocks and breathing that dust in, he unfortunately died from cancer not soon after, like in his 60s, after working his whole goddamn life. But every one of these is going to be a solid cell. Going to be a lot of windows. Looks like floor to ceiling. Interesting plan. And that shit's all gets tied in to the lentil. And then when you get to the lentil, what they do is when they pour the lentil, they lay out all the trusses on the where the trusses are gonna be on the lentil, where it's gonna sit on the beam, and they drive a Simpson tie into that lentil, and that's what ties the roof down. So it's a complete system from the footer tied with rebar, from the rebar in the footer to the rebar in the walls to the rebar in the beam, and then these Simpson ties in the lentil block that holds the roof down. And it's gonna meet, I'm not sure what the wind code is now, but I think it's 140 mile an hour wind, maybe more now, I don't know. But these guys are kicking it. They got all the block loaded. They don't want to load this shit too soon, because you don't want to sit it on green concrete. You want this shit to set up a little bit. So the only thing, I'm interested in seeing, see, they've got some questions about this. This is that bathroom with the rebar, and it looks like this is where they're going to be putting their rebar for this window. That line there is going to be all open down to the floor to here. And then the same thing over here, apparently. We're going to have this line here. That's where the block's going to stop in this shower. These are back-to-back showers. And it's going to be open all the way to the ground, to the floor, to here. And then it's going to go up, and these will be mirror images, basically. But I think it's going to be there's going to be a lot of glass in this house, guys. But the next one, I'll keep, this is interesting stuff. I'll keep an eye on it before the beam goes up. I will, it looks like they're going to use a lentil block all the way around the top. A lot of times they'll use plywood, they'll shoot plywood in and get it perfectly level all the way around. I don't know. We'll have to see how they do that. But that's it, guys. There's your update. I had a great day today. Here's some more lentils. Precast lentil. And you can see when they pour this solid, the cement will run down here and then go down, and the rebar will come up from the solid cell that this sits on, and they'll put 2 pieces of rebar in this. And I believe there's already rebar in this to keep it from snapping when they pick it up. But it's a lot of material here. This shit is not cheap. These are the pieces. These are the pieces for all the solid cells, the rebar number 5. And all this straight rebar, that's for the lentil. That's number 5 too. Interesting stuff, man. I used to love it. Did it for a long time. I can see these guys. They've got a hose running over there to where they're mixing the cement. The plumber, would have been nice if the plumber put a temporary service in that's not underground. You can see they had to dig all that shit up. I used to put one in with a double check on it, like the one they're accepting now in Sarasota County. Bring it up above grade with at least 2, maybe 3 hose bibs on it. And they left their meter key here But they'll be back tomorrow, and they'll get this baby built. Like I said, I think there's going to be a lot of glass in this house, man. It should be a beauty. Let me know. I went to lunch today with one of my subscribers, John Wilson, I believe was his name. His name's John, but I think his last name was Wilson. And a very nice guy. Works at the VA. And it was great chatting with him, hanging out with him. And we had some fun at Detweiler's, joking around at the deli counter. And a lot of fun. I love Detweiler's. I'm heading there right now, man. I'm going to get myself a steak. They got some, I don't know, sirloin on sale for $4.99 a pound, man. I'm going to get a big old fat sirloin. Maybe 12 bucks worth. 3 pounds. I'll cook it in my cast iron pan. I'm going to get some potatoes, see if they have some corn. Get some other vegetables, and I'm going to get my cook on. Now my Airbnb guests, man, never had guests who literally come to Florida in August to stay in the goddamn house. They don't leave. They're here every day, all fucking day. Don't know what they're doing in there. Maybe it's his mistress. Maybe he's getting his fucking groove on, you know? Motherfucker got into some... Maybe he got the little blue pills, man. I don't know. Something's going on over there. I mean, they're old, you know? But ever since, like, Viagra came out, sexually transmitted diseases have gone way up in the fucking elderly population. Oh, Frank's got a fucking boner. He's fucking 92 years old. Yeah. Anyways, have a great day. I won't make any money on this video either.